Hi there. I am so excited to share with you today a spreadsheet that I've developed to help track your transaction from contract to closing. Now, it is very basic, but you should be able to customize it very, very easily and add on other functions that you do as part of your from contract to closing process. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can take a look at this. I did send this to you as an attachment. So you should be able to download the file that I sent you. And when you download it, you should be able to open it in Google Drive as a Google Sheets document, as an Excel spreadsheet. So you should be able to use it in either of those ways. So what this is it is from contract to closing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of the fields with you, and you can understand then how you would use this to track the process all the way from the moment you have a ratified contract until you close. It also has a neat little feature so that if you've got your ongoing transactions on there, it's going to have a formula to calculate and give you a running tally of what your incoming commissions are going to be. Okay, so we go in here and I've got a section for active contract to closing. And we're going to put in here, and somebody interrupt me if you guys can't see my screen, but we're going to put in here the name of the transaction. So I'm going to call this one 123 Sesame Street. Now, to save myself energy and functionality for later for using this spreadsheet, I'm going to put the entire address in here. It's tempting to just say 123 Sesame Street, but I'm going to do the entire address in here. I'm also going to put my client's name in here. Let's say this is a listing of mine. So I am going, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm going to put her name in there. And then status, this is where I can input a status for myself so that I know how I'm coming along on it. So I may say in process, or I may say, oh, I'll have to figure out why. There we go. In process. Why that's not displaying, I will find out. Ratified contract date. So I'm going to say this was ratified on that date. I'm going to put in the closing date. So let's say this is going to close September 15th. All right, y'all, I'm already seeing this is the first time I've used it in Google Drive. I'm going to have to get a little formula work in there, but I'll get it all fixed up for you guys. Client type, this is where I'm going to put in seller. Obviously, I'd put in buyer if it was a buyer client. And then I'm going to put in here the client's full name and address. And because this is a seller client, 123 Sesame Street is not going to be her future mailing address. So I'm going to get her future mailing address and I'm going to put it in here so that I can use that data later if perhaps I want to go ahead and send her a postcard every year or a birthday card. I'll go ahead and have that data here. Now I'm going to start marking things, whether they're done or not. So listing package, I'm going to put in there when the listing package is completely finished. If this is a buyer, I'm going to say not applicable, because obviously if I have a buyer, it's going to be not applicable. Now here on mine, I have send to Rebecca, but that's just because I use Rebecca Hartley to do my transaction coordination. And I hire her for $250 a file. And she will take, so then I send her my executed purchase agreement. She then delivers it to the Wainwright office, which seems silly since I'm sitting here, but she sends it to the Wainwright office. She sends it to the closing office. She sends it to the other agent on the other side of the transaction. She sends a copy to my client. And that way we're all delivered the package. I know it's going to get there. I know she's going to deliver it on time. So that is one of my check boxes for you. If you're not using a transaction coordinator, that's perfectly fine. But you need to rewrite this to say send to Wainwright. No longer will you forget to send us your contract. And y'all, I'm here to tell you it happens way more often than it should be happening. When we get a closing check and people are like, hey, Jennifer, can I get paid? And she says, I didn't even know this was a transaction. We don't have anything regarding this transaction. Well, there is a host of problems with that scenario because we have not been able to review it. We've not been able to put it into our back office software program. We've not been able to make sure it's in compliance and that you have everything you need. And at that point, it's closed. So any errors we may have found, it is too late. So then once you've sent it to Wainwright, we're going to have the name of the closing company, the name of the lender, and perhaps I'm putting not applicable in here. If this is a seller file, maybe I'm not putting the lender info in there. If there is no lender, I may write cash in there. Now I have a spot for order inspections. Now you can go into detail in these cells, in these spots, but in case of the seller, it's going to be inflow and infiltration inspection with our current purchase agreement. So I'm either going to make that not applicable because this is a Salem address and Salem doesn't have Western Virginia Water Authority, or I'm going to say I and put the date that I've ordered it or the date that it's going to happen. Write the ROC. Now this is a seller client, so that's going to be not applicable. But you see over here, 2 spaces over, I've got respond to ROC. So that one is going to get a done marker for me once me and my seller have reviewed the removal of contingency form. And yes, I have not changed this yet to say repair addendum, which is our new form. But respond to ROC, I'm going to make sure that is completed. I'm going to put the date in there as to when it needs to be completed. Now, one thing I do for my seller clients, not my buyer clients, but my seller clients, so long as this is a home that they have lived in, I'm going to grab it real quick. Something I do for my seller clients is once the professional photos have been done, and I use Shows Great Photography, they just do a great job. Once they return those photos to me, I immediately go to Vistaprint and I upload all the photos into their easy scrapbook software program. And I have a hardback, book made of their listing photos. So especially important to note is that their house will have never looked better. So when I send this to them as their closing gift, they truly do love it. I put the front of the house on the front of the book and the back of the house on the back of the book. And on the spine, I put their names and the address of the property. And I put this with their closing gift. And it has been very, very, very well received over the years. So in order to make sure that I've gotten that done, it is one of the slots here on my from contract to closing spreadsheet. Now, if this is a seller who maybe it was an investment property, maybe this is an executor selling an estate, I obviously just don't do the photo book. So then I would indicate not applicable on this one. If it's a buyer client, I'm definitely not doing that. They don't want a photo book of the house decorated with the previous owner's stuff, you know. The reason why I do it up front, maybe I don't order it yet, because what if the listing doesn't sell? But I upload it there because Vistaprint is really good about sending me coupons. So I wait during the listing process and through the contract process. And the day that Vistaprint says 40% off everything today only, I can hop on and go ahead and check out. So I don't have to try to find time that day to do the photo book. It's done. And I now can jump on a coupon code for that day very quickly, throw it in the checkout window and check out and get it done. Okay. Respond to ROC, we went over. Order homeowners insurance. This is more of a buyer-oriented field, but I want it on here so that I don't forget to remind my buyers, hey guys, you got to order homeowners insurance. You got to make sure you get that to the lender. Walkthrough, there's a checkbox here for walkthrough. When is that happening? Okay. Change utilities. Change utilities is for seller or buyer. Buyer, you need to set them up. Seller, you need to schedule them to be turned off. And always remind your sellers not to have those turned off until at or after closing. If the buyer wants to go do their walkthrough on the way to the closing table, that is their right, and the utilities still must be on, okay? Buy a gift. This is my reminder that I have got to buy a gift for my client, and I like to have it at the closing table. I try so hard to attend all of my closings in person. It really is just the cherry on the ice cream sundae of the transaction. It is the happy day. And when I go in with a big gift basket or the photo book, it just leaves a very warm feeling with them. And I'm there to catch small things. I may catch that we paid for the termite inspection already, and now it's back on the settlement, or it's on the settlement statement. I may be able to catch small mistakes like that and make sure that they can get those corrected at the closing table rather than after. So that is invaluable to me. It is a very, very important part of my brand and what I do for my buyers. And it has just come from a point of, I have done all this hard work. I want to be there for the celebration. And honestly, they want you there for the celebration. They're excited. Ask them if they'd like for you to take a picture with their phone. Would you guys like to pose for a picture? Do you want me to take your picture for social media? It's not that I'm necessarily going to post it, but I'm happy to be the person to take their photo and make sure they capture that happy moment. We've got sold price here. Is there a referral fee due to someone? What will be the commission on this one? And then after these, what I call money fields, I have my behind the scenes stuff I do after closing. So for me, after closing, I have a laundry list of tasks I want to do with that client information after closing. And these are about me building my referral business, me staying in touch with my clients, my past clients. So I'm going to enter them into a CRM as a past client. I use Market Leader. It just keeps track of my clients, and it also hosts my, real estate website. But we've talked about Realty Juggler in the past. That is a very, very affordable option that has a lot of robust features for not very much money. I think it's like $200 a year for Realty Juggler. I'm going to enter them somewhere. I've got to put them somewhere, even if they just go into a Google Drive area. So you'll see I keep a Google Master Sheet. So in Google Drive, I keep a spreadsheet, which is what I call the master sheet, which is just every single client I've ever closed on a transaction with. That way, if something ever happens to my CRM, I have that Google Master Sheet where I'm keeping absolutely everybody all the time. Add my clients to my past clients mailings. So whether that's email or whether that's snail mail, I'm going to add them to my list, which I also keep on Google Drive, and I also keep in my CRM. I'm going to add them to my category past clients mailings. I'm going to mail them a happy house anniversary card once a year. I'm going to mail them a birthday card. I'm going to mail them a happy new year card. I personally stay away from holidays because I don't know enough about my clients to know whether they celebrate religious holidays or not. I don't know enough about them. If I celebrate religious holidays, I'm not going to assume every one of my past clients celebrates the same religious holidays. So I personally stay away from religious holidays. I will send them a mailer, a card with a Starbucks card attached to it for New Year's, Happy New Year's. And what it looks like, again, this is just a Vistaprint card that I made up. So it has raised embossed gold design on it, and it just says Happy New Year from Ashley Wainwright Donahue. On the back, little photo, branding photo, and my name and my name and my company name and my email address and my phone number. That's it. And then I'm going to glue. I'm going to do a little message on here, and I'm going to glue a little Starbucks card on there. So for New Year's, everybody's going to get, all my past clients are going to get a little Happy New Year note from me with a Starbucks card attached. So they've got to be on my past clients mailing list so that I know to do that. Now, I also keep, and I use it infrequently. The hope is to use it more, but I have a geographic list for my clients. So when I finish with a transaction, I go to my Google Drive and I have a multitude of lists like Southwest County, Botetourt, Franklin County, Bedford County, Salem, Glenver. And I have these sort of geographic lists that I've kind of lumped my sales into areas, my past sales. And I add that new past client, brand new past client, they've just closed on a house. I put their new mailing location, their home address on one of those geographic lists. That way, if I ever decide that I want to drop off a bag of candy for Halloween or a bag of candy or Rice Krispie treats for back to school day, I know how I could go hit 10 houses in one area and not be running all over town a million different ways to try to get to all my past clients. So I have a geographic list that I've been developing over the years, and it just grows. As I have a closing, I figure out where they would most likely be lumped into if I were to decide in the fall, and I've done this multiple years in the past, if I'm going to drive around and drop a potted mum on everybody's front porch with a little note from me saying, just thinking about you and your beautiful home, happy fall. I'm going to have this geographic list ready to go if I want to do what they call a pop by and just drop a mum on everybody's porch. I'm going to add my clients to my Google Sheet by year. That's just for me. I like to see in 2022, these were the people who bought a house with me. In 2015, these are the people who bought a house with me. Okay. It also helps me go back and say, all right, where's everybody that's been in their house for 5 years? Maybe I'm ready to start sending them a CMA every year. Hey guys, exciting news. Just wanted to let you know how much your home's gone up in value. I think your current market value is blank. Just was thinking about you and wanted to just be excited with you that your home has grown so much equity. Here are ways in which you could access that equity. Have you considered a home equity line of credit? Have you considered ramping up your payments and paying off your house sooner? Have you considered selling your house? And I'm going to go ahead and be able to identify very quickly with my Google Sheet that I've made. I've got one for 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. I can just count back and say, all right, this is the 5 to 7 year range. These are the people who maybe are thinking about selling. And I could just send them, hey, just wanted to reach out and make sure you understand what an awesome job you've done maintaining and improving the property that you bought. It is now increased in value by X% from when you bought it. Okay. And then here is where, in order to do all of these things, if this was a seller, I've got to get in here their future mailing address. I've got to make sure I get their future mailing address. If they have sold their house with me, but they're not buying a house, maybe they're moving into an apartment so that they can build. Maybe they're moving in with a family member to save on cost. I need to get their future mailing address. And then right here, I need to thank the other agent. Y'all, it's as simple as, again, Vistaprint. These things are like 50 cents a piece. This is a thank you note with my name on it. It says thank you and my name. That is all it says. It does not tell you my company name. It does not give you my phone number. It does not give you my email address. It does not have my picture on it, because this is not a piece trying to get me real estate transactions. Okay. That's when you have to make sure you have all of your disclosures and you've got all your identification on there. This is a thank you note. I am sending a thank you note to the other agent to say, woo girl, thank you for everything you did to help me get 123 Sesame Street across that finish line. My buyers are delighted, and it was such a pleasure working with you. Let's do it again soon, Ashley. And if I'm sending a thank you note to the other agent, I may be putting a $5 Starbucks card on there just to say, you earned a cup of coffee. I'm happy to treat you to it. Okay. What this does is, first off, wouldn't you love to receive one of those, right? Let me stop sharing so I can look at you guys again. Wouldn't you love to receive one of those? That would be awesome. That would make my day. Secondly, the next time I go to make an offer on one of their listings and there are multiple offers in place, or we're first day on the market and the seller's saying, I don't know, do we want to sell it this quickly? That other agent is going to say, Ashley is awesome to work with. She got everything done. She was pleasant to work with. She really educated her buyers. So it was a really smooth transaction. Okay. They're going to remember how you made them feel, even if there were hiccups in that transaction. When that transaction is done, when I think about transactions from 2-3 years ago, I can't remember the hiccups. What I remember is who was willing to get in the trenches and work with me and get it to the closing table. Okay. I don't remember what the hiccups were or who caused the hiccups. I just remember who was willing to do the hard work and get it to closing with me and who made it a pleasure to work with. Okay. Who has questions about that? I obviously have to do a little repair work on my spreadsheet that I was so proud of. Y'all, humbled every day. Every day I'm humbled in some way.
That's a great idea.
Go ahead, Rita. I'm sorry.
I don't know what ROC is. Tell me that again.
Removal of contingency. That's what the repair addendum is now. It was removal of contingency. Now it's repair addendum. And Jennifer Roach, did you have something to share?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Like ever since I began in real estate, I've been trying to create a checklist for everything. And this is going to help a lot.
Good. I'm sure there are more things you want to squeeze on there because they're things y'all do. They're things that are patterns of behavior that y'all like to do. You notice I did not have earnest money deposit on there. You probably want to put earnest money deposit on there. I use Rebecca Hartley with Hartley Closings. She is an agent at our firm who does transaction coordination as her primary business. And she ensures that that earnest money deposit is delivered and delivered on time. But that's probably a field that needs to be added to that. And in fact, I'm going to send you guys all the spreadsheet again today as a quick tool email. And I will add the earnest money deposit field to that. Because the quickest way to get in trouble is mishandle those earnest monies. Okay. And it is so easy to do. So checklists or processes are ways in which we can all make sure it is a very low risk transaction because we know we've done everything we're supposed to do. And quite frankly, when you start working 2 or 3 at the same time, you're going to forget whose earnest money you got, whose you didn't. Did you turn that in? Did you not turn that in? And y'all, we have heard every excuse in the book as to why we don't have the purchase agreement. It doesn't change the fact that we don't have the purchase agreement. So we've got to have it. You know, I can't help you if I haven't been able to read your transaction and foresee perhaps a hiccup that may be coming down the line, or you're missing an initial or you're missing a signature, right? Another thing that could go on there, I'll probably add it, is Property Owners Association or HOA packet. Always room for improvement, right? Anything else you guys can think of that maybe should be on there and isn't on there, and I'm happy to add it. Anything you all do routinely with your transactions?
Ashley, maybe sign in the yard.
Okay. I guess there's ones that I just never forget, like putting the sign in the yard. So I didn't,
Right.
But that could be absolutely part of that upfront, the listing part. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Rhonda.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have anything to suggest? Anything else you'd like to see on there? And I'll make sure all the formulas are going to work properly. Let me just, I'm going to stop recording for a moment.